Imagine it's a Monday morning and you are working as a data analyst for an e-commerce company. Your manager comes to you and says, "We made sales last month, but I want to know what actually happened." And then he starts asking questions like how much sale did we make, which category made the most sale, which customers are actually valuable. And suddenly you realize that every question requires a different SQL concept. I don't want you to memorize SQL syntax and forget it at the end of the tutorial. I want you to understand why we are writing the particular query in the first place. So, whenever we write some SQL query, we will connect it to a real life business problem. So, let's get started. Before starting, you might have a question. Why we are using SQL and not any other tool like Excel or Python? Absolutely, you can. Excel is great for smaller data sets, quick analysis, and manual exploration. Python is extremely powerful when we want to do advanced analysis, automation, or machine learning. And tools like Power BI or Tableau are very useful when we want to visualize our data. So SQL is not necessarily replacing all these tools. However, the reason SQL is so important for a data analyst is that actual business data lives in databases. So instead of downloading everything and manually working on it, SQL allows us to directly ask questions from the database. And most importantly, SQL gives us a reportable way for answering these questions. So today we are not learning SQL because SQL is cool. We are learning SQL because we have a business problem to solve. So on this video, we are working on the dataset of an e-commerce company that has sales data. So there would be some products that have been sold. Customers would have been placed the orders and they have purchased some items. There would be the value of the item or say price of the item, CP, SP. So our first question is your managers ask, how much sale did we make? Or how much sale did we generated in the last month? Suppose we are working on the last month data, or say your managers only wants to know the sales generation of the previous month. So let's go to the SQL and see how we can answer this question to the manager. Here our database is in PostgreSQL. So let's see how we can answer the manager's first question using the SQL. So the SQL syntax is select from. So in select clause, we write the columns that we want to get in our result, and in from clause, we take the tables in which the data is stored or the required data. So here you can see that we have orders table and order items table. Let's quickly have a review. So orders table has some columns in which the customers has placed an order, and one order has information of one order, and it has the items that is purchased on those orders is stored in order items table. Okay, so let's see. There is an ID, primary key of the order, then there is a order ID code, customer ID. So this customer has purchased this order, placed that order, and the items purchased and on that particular order are stored in a order items table, and there is a column of unit price through which we can calculate the sale generated on the last month. And to calculate the last month, we can have the created date of order item or the created date of orders. So we can have it directly from the order items table. So in the from clause, we are selecting the table order item where. Then the next comes the where clause of the SQL syntax. So in where we have to select the month because your manager has asked for the sale of last month. Suppose the last month is July. Okay, July 2026. So we can write it directly as where created date of the order items is between from which dates 2026 0701 from 1 July to 2026 0801. Here the last date is excluded from this, so it will take all the order items placed between 1st July to the end of the July 31st till 11:59 p.m. Okay, now we have to get, if we are selecting the simply writing the uh, say unit price column. Okay, so we will get the whole numbers, but this is not necessary, that is not convenient. As a result, we want a single number, so you can think of it as a sum of those prices. Okay, so we can use the aggregated function sum. Okay, so you will get the sum of the unit price. Here you can see that this is the unit price, but one item could have been multiple quantities of that particular item has been purchased. So we have to just multiply it with the quantity of the items. So sum of quantity into unit price, that will give us the actual sale value. So we are naming it as sales. Okay. Okay, there is a syntax error, quantity, and we will run this. We get the sale value this. Okay, so you can tell tell your manager that we have generated this amount of sale, that is 28,82,762.90. So like this, here we have used sum. There are multiple there are multiple aggregated functions like count, count distinct, or average. We can have those functions. We can use those aggregated functions based on our requirements. Okay. So, okay, but your manager is not finished yet. He asked you the another question, that from where is this sale coming? In other words, we can say that which from which category we are getting, say, more sale, or how much each category is contributing to the sale value. So let's answer this question by using the SQL. So our aim is to get the sale value per category wise. Okay, so we can solve it using the previous question only, and we have to do some modifications on that so that you can understand how this SQL is working. Okay, so we need a category contribution in sale value. So earlier we want this sale only, but we for this month period only, but we want it per category wise. For that thing, if we want think of it like that, we need one row one per category wise. So there will be two columns. One would be the category name, other would be the sale amount. Okay. So here a category is stored in, see, there is a product ID, and so there must be a products table in which the products are mapped. So let me show you the products table. Okay. See, here it has a category ID. On the products table, there is mapped a category ID on, and there is a categories table in which the products ID, the category ID is mapped. Okay, so now we have to link these three tables. For that, we have to use joins. So suppose we are giving the name order items as order items. We are using here inner join. In coming videos, I will tell you what is the difference between the inner join and left join. But to answer this question, right now we are using the inner join. Okay. So inner join products, because the product ID is mapped with the order ID, order items ID. So product, we have products naming as P on the common column is product ID. So P dot ID is equal to OI dot product ID, and there is another table, inner join categories C on C dot ID is equal to that, and that category is present in products table. So P dot category ID. Okay. But what we want in this select section, the one is select sum of the items and quantity and price, that is a sale value. Another we need as category name. So what is the name of the column on that category? For the name of the category, there is a name. Okay, so we want C dot name as category name. But is this SQL query correct? No. Here it will, see, if we are not doing anything, it will just give the whole rows, or there it will give a syntax error, because there is a concept of group by. So think of it in a similar way, in a simpler way, that we are grouping something. So sale value is grouped under the name of the category. So the sale value in the whole data. So the whole data we want in a manner that we need one row having the category name and sale value, the sum of sale. So we are writing, excluding the aggregated functions, we write every other columns in the group by section. So here we have category name, so we are writing grouping on the basis of C dot name. Okay, syntax is group by C dot name. Okay, we are using another clause also, order by. That is not necessarily used, it is not required here, but we are using because if the manager want to see which category is generating most sale, or which category is generating the least sale, so on that we can order it or sort it, so that we can get it in the manner, or we can directly look on, okay, the first category is generating the most sale, and the last one is generating the least sale. So order by sales, that is the name of the column, order by sales descending, because we want the largest number to be at the top. Okay, so now running this query. Okay, sorry, I have missed the comma here. Oops. Okay, so here we are learning something. Okay, so here it is given that the created date is ambiguous, because there is created date in products table also, there is created date in categories table also. So what does this column of created date refers to? Actually, what table is referring this created date? So we want the created date of order items table, so we have to write a mention, we have to mention this here, oi dot created date. So here we got our sale value category wise. So see, the electronics category has the most sale, and followed by the home and kitchen, and similarly on the 13th category, that is the last category, is by groceries, according to this data. So in this part we learned group by clause and order by clause. So here we use group by because our question changed from how much in total sale to how much sale in each category. That's why we use group by. Okay, so your manager sees the category wise sales generation, and further he wants to know how many customers are spending more than 1000 in orders. So let's answer his third question. Okay, so our sale amount is in the same order items table. So we are using order item. Okay, so now this time our question is how many customers are spending more than 10,000? So our customer is stored in orders table because there is a customer ID linked. So we have to join orders table. Orders O on. So we need to just find the number of customers. Okay, so count of. Firstly, we are just counting the we want this data for the previous month only, so we have to filter this data where O dot created date between those 2026 0701 and 2026. Okay, so here we want customers who are spending more than group by customer ID. Okay, we are finding which customers are spending more than 10,000. Okay, so we are grouping by customer ID because if we want to name of the customer, then we can join the customers table. Otherwise, the customer ID is enough. CUSTO customer ID, and we want the sum of quantity into unit price as sale, and we can. Okay, so the most interesting part is that we want that customers those are spending more than 1000, that is the order value, the sale value is more than 1000. So here we have to use the having clause. Why we can't use it in the where clause? Because where clause is just to filter the actual data, while after grouping the data, or we want to filter on the grouped data, that is the sale value, that is the aggregated value, we have to use having clause. So this is the main difference between the where and having clause that is frequently asked uh, in interviews also. So and while solving the any business problem or using the SQL, solving any SQL query, you have to to have the knowledge of difference between the where and having clause. Oh, so okay. In having, we want the sum of unit price and quantity to be greater or equal to 1000. Okay. We can order it also so that we can know which customer ID is spending most. Order by sales. We can name it as sales. Descending. Okay. There is syntax error. Okay, so the customer whose ID is 242 is spending has spent most in 1 month in sale in placing the order, and the least is spent by ID number 241. If you want to name, we want the name of the customer, then we can join the customers table and get the name, just like the category name we did in the previous question. So before grouping, if we want to filter the data, we will use where clause. We can use those filters in where clause. And if we want to filter the data after grouping, so we have to use the having clause, and we can write those filter values in having clause. Okay, so the manager has got your answer for which customers are spending more than 1000 value. But can we find the order that has the largest value in that particular previous month? We can also do that, so that we can find the customer that has placed the highest value order. So let's see how we can solve this question. Okay, so here we can solve this question, that the customer with the largest order value in the last month, with the same query only, but with slight modifications. Okay, so we can take some part here only, from here. So this time we need the value order level wise, because we need to find the order that has the largest amount. Okay, so the group by will change according to the selected column, that is order by. There is no need of having, because we don't want anything. Okay, sum of the sale, descending, limit 1. So this limit is limiting the number of row. Here we have sorted the orders based on the sale value, and we get the highest sale value, one order with the highest sale value. Let's see what's that order. Okay, so order ID number 76, and let's see which customer is linked with the order ID 76. Select star from orders where ID is equal to 76. We can also do it using the CT method. That concept I will explain later on. Right now we are doing it manually. Okay. Okay, so there is customer ID 242. That is the same customer that we found. Okay, we can do it here also. Let me use it with, say, query first as. We can use subquery also here. We can use CT. There are multiple methods in which we can get our answers in SQL. Select customer. Okay, select from order O, inner join customers cus on ID is equal to O dot customer ID. And we want the name of the customer. So here we can write it as cos dot name, customer dot name as customer. Where, okay, we can join other one also. Inner join Q1 on Q1 dot ID is equal to Q1 dot, sorry, there is order ID. Q1 dot order ID is equal to O dot ID. Okay. So we will get the corresponding customer name. Let's see what is the name of the customer. Karan Patel. Okay. So in this way, you can solve this question and tell your manager that this customer has placed the order with the highest value. Okay, so our last question is, what is the product that has been purchased most? So we have to find the product name. So we can join the table products, inner join product p on p dot id is equal to oi dot product id, and here again we will do group by, but this time we will do based on the product product name. Group by p dot name, that is name of the product. So here we will select p dot name, and again we want sum of quantity into unit price. Okay, most purchased product, order by the sale descending, or we are using the sales, so we can have the same name everywhere. Sales descending and limit 1, because this part will give the whole give all the products with their sale value, and we have ordered it based on the sale value descending. Limiting 1, we will get the one product that have been purchased most. Okay, so this will give the highest sale value, but if we want the number of orders uh, for what product the most number of orders has been placed, so the query for that would be different. Let me write both of them. Okay, so this is the product with the highest sales value. So the sale value generated by this product is the most, but we want how many customer like which product is more popular among the customers, or uh, customers are purchasing what product the most number of times in this month. Okay, so last month. So we can have it as, instead of this, we can write here based on order. So we will use here count. We are not joining the orders table, so we can find it directly from here. Distinct order ID as orders. So it will give, okay, for that product the most number of orders has been placed, group by orders, and here order by orders descending. See, this is the difference. So Adidas cricket bat, that has been purchased the most number of times. Okay, but based on the value, the product was something different. That was JBL laptop. So in this way, the understanding the question that your manager wants to know uh, makes the difference between how you're writing the query, or what function you have to use. Okay, so one question I would like you to try solving it. So the question is, who is the second highest purchasing customer? So try that question and let me know in the comments. The real skill of a data analyst is not memorizing a number of SQL commands. The real skill is in taking the business question, understand it, and converting into a data question, so that you can solve it and answer your manager or whosoever asked that question correctly. So the first step is understanding the question, the requirements, and then choosing the correct operation of the SQL to solve it. So that's exactly how we are going to learn the SQL in this channel. So if you enjoyed this learning, we will continue this series of solving real business problems using SQL. You can suggest the topics for further videos in comments. Thank you so much.